Hello everyone, welcome to the Section 4 AA semi-final between the #1 seeded White Bear Lake Bears and the #5 seeded Woodbury Royals. With Alex Westhead, I'm Zach Halverson. We welcome you to Aldridge Arena here on SCC Sports. It's always a fun time of year to see who will come out of Section 4 and make their way down to the XL Energy Center, Alex.
Well, certainly any of the 4 teams left remaining here can give any of the teams there a fits, and it's not going to be easy matchups advancing to the XL Energy Center. But we've had a chance, Zach, to watch both of these teams play a couple of times this season, and we know that the matchup between the two of them has been extremely close, to the point where White Bear Lake should have lost that opening game at the Vadnais Sports Center back in January, before White Bear Lake was able to finish that one off back at the Bielenberg Sports Center in February. So it should be an interesting matchup, and it should be a close one, a competitive game between two teams, conference rivals as well.
Yeah, make no mistake, this is a 1 versus 5 game, but these two teams, as you mentioned, both games decided by just a goal. The first one went to overtime, and the one most recent at Bielenberg Ice Arena, a close game to the very end. I believe the Bears scored in the 3rd period. Brady O'Brien, the defenseman, was the difference the entire way in that one.
Well, sometimes it helps to get offense from your defense, and when you're putting that many shots on goal, one of them has to go through. That was a recipe for success for both games, was they both put a plethora of shots on goal before finally they were able to actually beat the goaltender. It sounds like it'll be Josh Davis. He got the opening matchup back in January, and he played very well before losing a handle of it in the 3rd. As we take a look here at the 4AA bracket, again, Zach, no real surprises there in that opening round, but Tartan certainly gave Hill Murray a lot more than what they bargained for.
Yeah, no, that was a game that Irondale came out flying, scored a couple of quick goals, but Woodbury battled their way back and dominated in the 2nd and 3rd periods. You see Woodbury making their way down, and then the other game, which will be played Wednesday the 27th, will be here at Aldridge between Stillwater and Hill Murray. I can guarantee you it will probably be not 70. It will not be 7-2 in favor of the Ponies, though it would be fun to see. Now we have a very special White Bear connection. The anthem here will pause for a moment. By a sister of a former White Bear Lake hockey player.
White Bear Lake junior Madison Carroll, as she does for the White Bear Lake home games, here to sing the national anthem on SCC Sports.
Of the United States of America, please join Ms. Madison Carroll in the singing of our national anthem.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and round its red glare the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Madison Carroll, the sister of former White Bear Lake forward Austin Carroll, leading us in the national anthem here on SCC Sports with Alex Westhead. I'm Zach Halverson, and a couple of very familiar teams playing tonight. Woodbury and White Bear Lake both in the Suburban East. The Bears, Suburban East Conference champions yet again. The Woodbury Royals just second to last, but again, as we mentioned earlier, both meetings this season did not tell that story.
Well, definitely didn't tell the story, but also Woodbury's had a couple of good years of sustained success back in the late parts of that first 2000s decade, where they were the best team in the section, but they've fallen on hard times. They've only been in 4AA for 4 years now. They've made the section semis 3 out of those 4 years. But again, when you play on this ice in late February and March, anything can happen, like we saw when White Bear Lake played Tartan 2 years ago. Hopefully the Bears are on the right side of this one tonight, but we'll see what happens.
In goal for the Bears will be Evan Foss, a very wicked goaltender, very aggressive goaltender. He goes all over the place, a little bit old-fashioned, but he's very, very good at nets.
Well, Zach, we've had the opportunity to watch Evan Foss grow up and mature and play out of this White Bear Lake net for a number of years now, and he's gotten better with every start that he has, and especially these spots in these big starts. He was the one that got the Hill Murray game, got the Duluth East game, and he's the kind of goaltender that will make that strong start and be that rock in net that you need to be in order to be successful.
On the other end of the ice, it will be Josh Davis, 9-6 record on the year. He's got save percentage just short of 90%, and just a couple of shutouts as well. He did not play the Bears a few weeks ago on the 14th of February, so Bears will have a new goaltender to battle and try to perhaps get more than one goal off of, as they did back in February 14th, but a close game could be ahead if the first two are any indication. We are underway here. Bears and the Royals. White Bear Lake making their way up the ice here on the right side. Chase Bill centers one for Meister, goes all the way through. The Royals trying to track it down. They jam it back out to center. Cooper Anderson dumps it deep, hits the corner, and then off the stick of Davis's before he's cleared back out to center. Spencer Miller, they call him the Sheriff. Might be because of that height, I don't know. 6'5", 190, the senior. A force on the blue line for the Bears.
We certainly notice his size just standing up here at the press box. But when you're down on ice level, you notice how big he is, and you notice the impact that he's had starting on this blue line for the past 3 seasons.
He's got such a reach as well, and it's so hard as we see the Royals try to get it past him and fail. It's so hard to get it past Spencer on the blue line. The Royals do clear it back out to center. It's picked up by Klein, slid to his left, and then moved forward and directed in by Newpower. Behind the goal, grabbed up by Rode. Leighton Rode reverses position there as he is driven in the corner. Now pushed back to the blue line. Klein moves it across. Here's a chance for the stick of Joey Fratellone. That's no good. Another try for Klein. His shot finds its way all the way through and then goes into the corner. Good couple looks there for White Bear Lake as they continue the pressure here early. Royals get in the way of it, however. It's taken by Zach Bernstein, sent forward through neutral ice, now returned, and then back just inside the Royal zone it goes before Woodbury will grab it and dump it in deep. Evan Foss drops the paddle down, swats it away, goes behind the White Bear Lake goal with it. Now it's knocked the wall off to center. Newpower. Direction of Holfeld. It goes back to Newpower's stick. He'll find Klein, who finds Fratellone, who goes back forward, and then it's dumped in deep by Newpower. You have to think, Alex, for White Bear, you want to get on the board, you want to get that first blood, and really, get the action on your side right away.
Well, I think what we notice here so far, Zach, is that all the pressure has really been in the Woodbury defensive zone, where just like both of those matchups, there's been a ton of attacking zone time for White Bear Lake. They just haven't put the puck in the net yet. A lot of time left to do that, and if you're the Bears, you certainly like the pressure that you've seen on the Woodbury end of the ice so far.
Centering attempt here, chance and a shot. It ramped off of Craven's stick, goes into that O'Connor stick, goes into the netting behind. The opportunity there for Tristan Johnson, and that's one thing for White Bear Lake, Alex, that we've seen this year. That third line has really come into their own and been a big force, and it's why I think this team is so good as it is.
Well, the best hockey teams have that ability to roll those lines, and especially with the depth that this White Bear Lake program has, both on the forwards and on the defense, where if you can roll those lines and not have any issues, any doubts about who you're playing up front, it's a great effort, and it's something that a lot of teams don't have. One of the problems with this Woodbury team is that they don't have those lines that they can roll through.
We'll see if how the line matching. Of course, that's one of the advantages of having that top seed for the Bears. They can match those lines, and now it's Meister who takes it in, sends it on goal, and it's sticked away nicely by Josh Davis. The clear is successful for Woodbury. Retreating to grab it is Luke Alez. Alez looks for options, goes to his left. Bears will move it forward through center. Meister tries to track down this bouncing puck. He corrals it and dumps it in deep. Tyler Barry will grab it for the Royals. He'll send it into the crowd.
Well, one thing to look at too here, Zach, is that Josh Davis in that game back in January at the Vadnais Sports Center, again, he faced a ton of shots. The shots on goal that day were 53-14 Woodbury, or White Bear Lake rather. And if White Bear Lake can replicate that success, again, having those line matchups that you want, the Bears 10-2 as a home team in any competition this season. That's going to be a recipe for success.
Off the draw, New Power trying to find the lane with it. Can't do so. The Royals take over. It's sent forward by Zach Bernstein to the red line. Leighton Road has it stolen away from him by Bernstein, and Bernstein will try to direct it into the zone. Instead, it found the White Bear Lake bench. So a couple of quick whistles here. The Royals, though, trying to fight their way back and get some more zone control. They really haven't had a forecheck at all in the first 4 minutes of this one.
Not at all. They've been given an official shot on goal, which, I mean, when you get to this and you're at a different vantage point, you can't necessarily tell where the shots on goal are coming from or if they're actually on goal or not. But again, if you're Woodbury, you have to have offensive zone time, because 14 shots on goal is not going to cut it, and it's not going to beat this White Bear Lake defense.
Grant Hofeld in the right wing side drives to the goal, sends it into the glove of Josh Davis. Best scoring opportunity thus far for the Bears, and no surprise it comes from Grant Hofeld's stick.
Well, again, Grant Hofeld only as a junior. He's been a fantastic addition since he came up last year. Led the team in goals for a majority of the season here for White Bear Lake. So again, he's got a ton of speed, but he has that physicality where he can create separation from skater and puck and create scoring chances for the Bears.
Danielson clears it for the Royals, finds the stick of O'Connor, who crosses the red line, sends it in deep. Evan Foss, who will find that puck wherever it is in his own zone. He'll go out and grab it, and the Bears are able to break it out. New Power, left wing side, drives the goal. New Power shot. This is the goal. Might have caught a piece of Davis on its way to the back wall. Royals grab it immediately, try to clear. They get it to the blue line. New Power forward to Road. Leighton Road in, fires a shot just wide. Grabbed by Sheeta. Sent out to neutral ice. Brady O'Brien. And it's flipped in by Alez. Back to pick up is Ben Sheeta. He's pinned up along the wall. Battle continues down there. Meister comes away with it, looks to center, has it poked off his stick by Craven. Continued to the blue line to Alez. Alez, nice moves there as he dumps it in deep. Centering attempt by Meister is no good. It's swatted to the near corner. Meister, nice moves, moving in. Meister shot save, rebound still loose, and then it goes wide of the goal. As falling to the ice is Josh Davis. Whistle is blown. The official's got his hands up, but no surprise, Meister, such a physical force, crashing the net literally.
Well, that top line, again, has that physicality, but they're a little bit on the shorter side, so you don't expect too much out of them. But then they hit you with that speed where they can carry the puck in, create a turnover. Meister did a nice job of picking that puck away. Put a couple of shots on goal before Josh Davis fell down and had the whistle blow in his favor. But again, good chances for White Bear Lake. They just have to finish.
Off the draw, the Royals will send it in deep. Evan Foss with the backhand gives it to Millard, who brings it around the wall for Hofeld, and out comes White Bear Lake. In front of the benches, the battle continues. Leighton Road steals it away, gives it to Hofeld. Hofeld blows a tire, and that'll allow the puck to go in the corner, and then he will make his way to the penalty box as White Bear Lake touches it up. And the question at this point is, how severe of a penalty will this be?
Well, you could make the argument 2 or 5. I didn't like how it looked from our vantage point here, Zach.
It looked like he tried to hold up at the last second, and the officials are conferencing right now to talk about it. Looks like he tried to hold up. At that point, it was too late. They have 2 minutes on the scoreboard. Officials still talking about it, but the question is, if it's boarding or if it's checking from behind, it's 5 minutes. If it's roughing, it's 2.
So
it's a 2-minute cross-checking penalty, which the Bears will take.
Bears got a lucky call on that one, Zach. Again, if you're going to get a 2-minute minor for cross-checking, you'll take it. But really, you could have seen a 5-minute major there. But a good break here for White Bear Lake. Now they'll have to set up on the penalty kill, where they have been pretty strong this season.
And no surprise, Wes Bolin, the head coach for Woodbury, is giving the official piece of his mind. I don't blame Coach Wes Bolin for his anger, as it's really hard to call that a cross-check, but that's, you know, kind of where we're at this point, when you used to have, whether if it was, you know, boarding was a 2-minute major, or minor, I should say. That used to be kind of the go-to call. Now it's, now that that's 5-minute major, they call whether it be roughing or cross-check.
Well, he's been around for a while too here, Zach. He's been the head coach of Woodbury since 2004. He's been a teacher in the district since then too. He's concerned about his players, but he also knows what a major penalty should be and what should not.
Well, a big opportunity for the Royals here on the power play this year, 18%, and have been successful as that shot deflects off a Bears stick. Face-off will remain in the zone. The Bears, for their part, 86% on the penalty kill. So it's an interesting matchup, but if you're Woodbury, you got to take your opportunities when you can get them. This is a great opportunity just 6.5 minutes in.
I would tell you, though, that if you're Woodbury, you do have to get Spencer Millard off the ice, because you're not going to be able to move him in front of the net to create that net front rebound chance.
Clearing attempt stopped by Tyler Berry at the blue line, given to his left to Tarleton. Tarleton over to Kruger. Tarleton, one-time shot saved, rebound still loose. Another chance in front, but it's broken up and cleared. Great work by both Millard and Bill to get their sticks in the way of that one, because if that puck goes through, that finds a open Woodbury Royal on the back door, and it could be 1-0. Huge hit put on by Millard, and back the other way the puck goes for a moment. Now it finds its way to Cooper Anderson, who tried to clear, couldn't do so. Royals continue it in. Here's Stuckard with a shot pad save by Foss. Out to the blue line, Tarleton keeping it in, sending it to the stick of Stuckard. Getting his big twig back is Millard. Out to Tarleton, to his right, now back, and it just squeezes through the stick of Tarleton, and the Royals forced to come back out to neutral ice. 35 seconds to go in the power play. Stolen away. Bill, shot, shorthanded, no good. Nice save there by Josh Davis. 25 seconds now remain on the Woodbury power plays. They have one last rush as they enter the zone. O'Brien off the glass to the blue line, and it's forced out nicely by Verkerke, and back in the puck goes, and that'll pretty much do it. The Bears will kill this penalty off as they will make their way up the ice. Grabbed by Verkerke. Verkerke, nice moves, moving in. Here's Rode to his left, back to Verkerke, and it can't get back to Rode there as it was muscled free by the Royals and sent to the far wall. Battle continues in the far corner. Halfway through this first period, here's Leighton Rode. He finds the glove of Davis, and that'll stop the clock with 8:51, but the Royals, with the power play, got a couple of opportunities but unable to finish.
Well, like you said, Zach, great looks on the power play too. They had a couple of wide open nets there, but again, that defensive pairing there with Millard back for White Bear Lake, and then Blake Meister covering back as well. It was just a good pairing, and they were able to get the puck out of the zone, and Woodbury couldn't do anything when that defense pairing changed.
Draw one by the Royals. They try to ring it around the boards near side. It's forced back in by Millard. Huge hit put on with the puck in the vicinity by Billy Rose. And out the zone comes the puck as Wes Bolin, the coach for the Royals, has more words for the officials. Another big hit put on by Millard this time as the physicality of this one is picked up. There's an icing with 8:26 to go in the opening frame, but what a couple of huge hits put on, and both, according to the officials, clean.
Yeah, well, frustration again, and trying to set that physical presence there. You've set the speed presence, but you want to be able to show Woodbury that you're still going to have no hesitation in checking and playing the body, trying to separate player from puck.
Draw one by the Royals. They force it into the corner. It's stolen away by White Bear Lake for a moment. At the blue line, it's Stuckard. Forced to the red line, grabbed by Hill and sent back into the White Bear Lake end. Backhanded around by Klein. Along the far wall there, Tristan Johnson gets it to neutral ice. Now moving into the zone of the Bears. Verkerke driving in, goes behind the goal, now tries to wrap around. Tristan Johnson with a straight up shot, and it's turned away by Davis. Great positioning there by Josh Davis, and great opportunity as this line continues to impress for White Bear Lake. Tristan Johnson forcing it in the corner for the Bears, still causing trouble. Royals finally muscle it free, and they'll move it out to center. Zach lands on the right side. Moving in, sends it toward the goal. It's gloved by the glove of Evan Foss, making the save.
Well, pretty even in shots on goal too so far here. 7-5 shots on goal favoring White Bear Lake here about halfway through this first period of play. But again, one of the keys to the game is who scores first, because if White Bear scores first, then they can start to open the floodgates, as we would have seen Saturday against Roseville. But if Woodbury scores first, at that point, do you start feeling like this, as the puck goes out of play there, are the gloves going to start holding the sticks just a little too tight?
Well, if you're Woodbury, you got to be happy now that, you know, we've gone 8.5 minutes without, you know, a goal. But on the other hand, it's hard to, at this point, when you need to get on the board first, the more time that passes without a goal on your side, the more chances it gives White Bear Lake a chance to get that very coveted first blood by both teams. Because, you know, whether you're White Bear Lake, you know, being the favorite, if you will, you don't want to let the 5 seed have any chance and give them any hope as the puck goes fluttering on goal, and it's sticked away by Evan Foss. But of course, the other side of that is Woodbury wanting to, you know, pull off this upset. It would help greatly with that first goal.
Well, Zach, you and I both thought that Irondale was seated way too high in the Section 4 AA playoffs, because any team that loses to an 8 seed in Roseville in the regular season should not be a 4 seed at any level. But again, with this Woodbury team, their big story this week all season long was that you never knew what you were going to get coming into a game with them. And so far, again, we don't really know. They're keeping it even in shots on goal so far, but does that something that get perpetuated throughout the second and the third periods?
To the left of Evan Foss, he'll just plop right down, and we'll do exactly what we just did a second ago. The crowd continuing to grow here at Aldridge Arena. It's not quite the atmosphere we got on the double headers back at the Coliseum, but it's still up there, and you'd love to see the people fill the Aldridge Arena. Will be full for sure on Friday night with whoever these two teams will battle, whoever the Stillwater Ponies or the Hill Murray Pioneers will play here at the home of the Pioneers tomorrow night. A shot blocked there, taken by Bill. Here's Millard with an opportunity, whipped on the shot, and that will allow the Royals to break it out. Down the ice here comes Bernstein, trying to make his way through, falls to the ice after taking a bit of a shot there from Millard. And the Bears able to clear it to center, grabbed and then sent back into the White Bear Lake end. Millard will send it to his left. Cooper Anderson, quarterback for the White Bear Lake Bear football team, will move it forward. Cooper's shot goes wide there from the blue line. Back out high, a shot taken there, rebound, score! Carter Collins, the new addition to the Bears, gives a new addition to the scoreboard. It's 1-0 White Bear Lake.
Well, for the senior to get on the scoreboard here, again, just a great drive to the net, getting ready for that rebound. Shots from the blue line, if they're aimed low, can create rebound opportunities. That's exactly what Carter Collins does here, right off the stick of Joey Fratelloni, all the way from the blue line. Nice shot on goal, down low. Collins fouls it up, buries a rebound, and puts this game at 1-0.
And what a goal it was. Just a very, very simple shot from Fratelloni. The rebound, and that's really what they talk about, getting the puck on that. Crazy things happen with the puck right around the goal, and it did right there. Fratelloni make that. Carter Collins makes it 1-0 White Bear, and such a very important goal here. We'll see how the Royals respond. They have the puck through neutral ice, but it's carried in offside, and obviously a little excited, maybe the heightened emotional state of this game right now here, but Yeah, as we was just saying, Alex, the response here from Woodbury is going to be interesting in the next 5.5 minutes.
Well, again, it's can you respond to this adversity? When Woodbury's gotten scored on first, they haven't necessarily played up to that level of competition, and they've had struggles coming back when they face deficits. So if you're White Bear Lake, you take that puck, you gain the red line, you dump it in deep, and you make Woodbury come back to you.
Klein's pass to his left, directed in, icing waved off as it did hit off of a White Bear Lake stick on its way into the Woodbury zone. The Royals will immediately break it back out. Turnover at neutral ice. Tristan Johnson tracking it down will make his way in. Johnson shot, pad save Davis, rebound in the skates of Stuckert, who finally grabs it and sends it out to neutral ice before it's returned deep in the Royal end. Brad Mauter to his left, up to Stuckert. Stuckert has it swatted off his stick. Rose pass is intercepted by Kruger. Kruger moving in, fires it on goal, saved by Foss. He'll continue play here. Sends it behind the net, hard off the glass, the blue line, stopped by Tarleton. Tarleton will get it forward here, looking for options as Schwartz off. He'll go to the blue line, but it's stolen away by Bill, and Bill will move it across to Rose, who returns it to Bill, and into the zone. The Bears come for a moment before the Royals will take it away from their stick and then flips it to center. Grabbed off of a high stick, that brings the whistle. Bernstein stopped it in the air above his shoulders, and that stops the clock at 4:24 to go in the opening period. Carter Collins, I mentioned, a new addition to this team. He's a senior, but was a transfer, I believe, from Lakeville, and has been a welcomed addition because we talked about that third line, the depth of this team continues to grow, and it's in part because of Collins.
Well, even not just in addition to Collins, this team has been given a radically different look than what it was a season ago, where players that tried out last year and didn't make it did make it this year and made this team a lot better than where they were. So hopefully they're able to shake off the frustrations of seasons past and close out something good here tonight, and then hopefully on Friday as well.
We mentioned the former Bear at the beginning of the broadcast with the anthem. Madison Carroll, the sister of Austin Carroll, and Austin Carroll was part of that line with Max Jenrich and Chase Hamstead. That was kind of the force of the Bears last year, the story of the Bears. They got the majority of the goals. They were such a tough line to stop. And when you lost all three, they were all seniors, and when you lost all three, it was going to be interesting to see how they would replace that top line. And I think the Bears have maybe not replaced that top line with 3 guys. I think they've replaced that top line with close to 9.
Well, again, when the scoring gets taken away from a team, you have to replace it from within, and it's just been a good team effort where any of those players, where last year you had that picnic line and you were afraid of that picnic line when they were on the ice. This year, if any of those first 3 lines are out there, you're afraid of what they can do because there's a ton of talent at all positions up front.
3 minutes, 12 seconds to go. Clock stops because of a Woodbury icing. And there is a lot of excitement among White Bear Nation with this team, and I think that's part of the reason why, where last year was kind of nothing against the second and third lines, but the game plan was if you could stop that first line, you could have a good chance, and it's very hard, I think, to game plan, perhaps harder to game plan against the Bears this year than it was last year.
Well, I think as well that when you look at how they've played other teams too, while they haven't necessarily beaten teams that were ranked above them by Let's Play Hockey, they've been competitive in those games where the score hasn't gotten out of hand until late in the game. So it's interesting to watch how this team develops as the puck flipped into the stands here. So it'll be interesting to see how they play against top competition in the future.
And that would start on Friday should they be able to get past Woodbury here. It is still 1-0, and there's still a lot of time to go. But a lot of good competition in Section 4 this year. Again, that game tomorrow night should be very, very good. The Stillwater and Hillmurray Pioneers, they've developed their own rivalry. It was White Bear and Hillmurray for many, many years, but now Stillwater has come into the fold as of late and developed their own thing with Hillmurray. So will be a very good game at Aldridge Arena, and then Friday, whoever is playing, it should be a very good one, whether it be White Bear, Woodbury, and then Stillwater or Hill. That is still to be determined. The Bears gaining speed, coming out with it. Billy Rose, such a great skater, moves it in front, goes all the way through to the far corner where Meister will pick it up, sends it right to the stick of Mauter. Has it stolen away from there. Now a centering attempt, shot just wide of the goal, taken by Rose. He'll grab his own rebound, sauces it back to the blue line for Alez. Now moved across for O'Brien. O'Brien across for Alez. Alez goes to the back door in the corner for Meister. Meister pinned up against the wall, has no help. Declaring attempt, stopped by Alez. Top of the slot. Alez shot blocked by a diving Lands. He gets up slowly. Looks a little bit hobbled here. Play continues. Alez keeping it in nicely. Gives it across for O'Brien. Now to the corner with it. Battle continues there. Royals able to flip it to center. Alez will turn right back around and will carry it right back in. The forecheck continues for the Bears. Here's a shot from Bill. That's turned away off the stick of Davis. A couple of Bears get tangled up together behind the Woodbury net. The Royals come away with the puck, and up the ice they go to the red line. It's Meister coming away with the puck. He finds Alez. Alez with a long pass at the line, but it was offsides as Rose just lifted his stick, or his skate rather, off the blue line. His shot taken as the whistle was blown, and the Royals took exception to that, as you saw. And he'll make his way to the bench, but no penalties called there.
Well, there may not be penalty calls, but we'll look to see if Woodbury chooses to challenge Billy Rose a little bit more throughout the course of the game, where the whistle had blown and the shot on goal was still taken. But either way, very nice puck movement by White Bear Lake on that rush in the last couple of minutes, where it looked like a power play in the attacking zone.
Spencer Millard finds Anderson. 1 minute to go as you hear the public address announcer Kirk Posell tell the crowd here at Aldridge Arena. Holfeld, his shot, whiffs on it, takes a hit as the puck goes harmlessly to the corner. Royals clear it down the ice. Might have gone for an icing at the first minute of this period, but it won't for the last minute here. Gets stuck in that snow. Bears having some problems breaking it out. Leighton Road trying to track it down here, pokes it behind the net. Finds the stick of Hofeld, who tries to clear. Does so. Hofeld moving across the red line. Here's Grant Hofeld moving in. Hofeld driving, looking for options. He's driven in the corner. Loose puck picked up by Newpower. Swatted off his stick. Royals will break it out here with some speed. It's Ben Tarleton. He'll cross the red line. He'll get it in. 10 seconds to go now. Bears will play it to the far wall. Played up through center here, and it'll be grabbed. One last chance for Mauder. Mauder moving in, and a chance. Weak angle shot goes all the way through at the buzzer, and we end the first 17 with a score of White Bear Lake 1 and Woodbury 0.
Well, a period of hockey exactly like what you expected. The White Bear Lake Bears had a lot of attacking zone time. They got a lot of shots on goal, but unlike the first two games of the season, they got goals to show for it. And they got, well, one goal actually, excuse me. They got one goal to show for it, but you got to keep that pressure on. When White Bear Lake leads after the first period, they're 7-0-0 this year. Only 7 times that they led after a period, but they've been undefeated in that stretch. And when you're Woodbury and you're losing after a period, it's a little bit rougher. 1-7-0.
Well, some crazy things would have to happen, but we'll see. Plenty of crazy things usually do happen in the Section 4 tournament year in and year out. We'll take a breather, and when we come back, we'll see the middle frame of this one. It's White Bear Lake 1, it's Woodbury 0, and it is the 2019 Section 4 AA semi-final on SCC Sports.
In your new role, we help you help. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who once took care of you.
Carter Collins scored in the first period. That is the difference in this one between Woodbury and White Bear Lake, the Section 4 AA semi-final. The winner goes to the section final on Friday here at Aldridge Arena. The loser goes home with Alex Westad. I'm Zach Halverson, and Alex, it's always fun when you have boys hockey games here on SCC Sports, but it's it made even more fun when you have win or go home hockey, and that adds a little bit of flavor and I think a little bit more intensity than maybe you might see at the state tournament.
Well, it definitely adds it, but there's also within the sections, there's always that familiarity of having played those opponents at least once in that given course of the year in the most cases. And you would have liked to see Irondale as you welcome them into the Suburban East next season. But again, there's that familiarity and there's that edge to it where you never know what's going to happen. You don't want your season to end here. You'd rather have it end down the road in St. Paul.
Well, it's a 1-0 game. The Bears got first blood, but the Royals did a good job keeping them to 1. Trying to make it 2 of the Bears. They battle in front and still lose. And the goaltender, Josh Davis for Woodbury, able to keep it out of the goal, at least for now. No flash photography, please. That person in the corner trying to blind somebody down there as the puck is sent deep back into the Woodbury zone.
I hope they go have a talk with that kid if he is trying to distract the Woodbury players.
I know. What is the point of that? There we go. It's distracting. Billy Rose has the puck for the Bears. Corrals it, gets it up to Hofeld, and then it's backhanded hard in by Brett Blake. That made that Blakemeister. As the puck continues to be battled for here. Woodbury moving in on the right side. It's Kruger. Kruger's shot. Shoulder save for Evan Foss, and out the zone comes the puck. It'll go for an icing on that clean ice, and minute 15 in, the Royals testing Evan Foss early in the second period.
Well, speaking of the Meisters, Jody Meister, I think that's Blake Meister's mom's name.
That is correct.
She is one of the most energized parents in the entire White Bear Lake section.
Audible for sure.
She's straight across from us here. She was the first one set up, and already she's screaming and hugging the person in front of her just because of the stress. But again, Evan Foss being tested here, but the senior, he's seen these quality of shots before. They're not, Woodbury has been having a hard time getting a body in front presence, and it hasn't worked for them so far.
Tristan Johnson taken down as he is driving to the goal. Continuing with it here, Collins back to the blue line with it. DDD pass, Klein to his right, a shot, score! The shot taken by Fragalone, it might have been redirected in front. Tristan Johnson seems to be taking credit. Nonetheless, Bears are up 2-0.
Well, when you started out the second period, you wanted to get on the scoreboard early, and you wanted to show that the first period was something that was working for you, and you wanted to show sustained success. And for Tristan Johnson, again, just great puck movement along the perimeter, getting a body out in front, and then finding a way to bury that puck past Josh Davis to give White Bear Lake this 2-0 lead. And again, a ton of confidence here for White Bear Lake being up 2-0.
Officially Tristan Johnson's goal, as we suspected there. Joey Fragalone has a couple of, we think at least a couple of assists here, as both goals now have come off of shot from the blue line. And now again, 2-0 is the score. And Alex, when you get to postseason, especially in sections, not that you're not doing it throughout the season, but it's even more so you're fighting for ice time. You're trying to prove, you know, if you're not that top line, you're trying to prove why you should be out there. And this Collins and Johnson line have proven themselves very nicely here so far.
Well, again, when you have all this ice time, and with each goal and each moment on the ice being bigger than the last one, through 25 games, you know who.
Chance in front, trying to track it down is Anderson, who fires it off the post. Without a stick as Davis, he'll send the net off the moorings. Accidentally, in quotes, but he does keep the puck out of the net. A crazy, wild, action-filled 10-second sequence nearly put White Bear up 3, but Davis stood tall.
Well, again, they got the puck and they just put it on net, and crazy thing happens when you put the puck on net. They got Josh Davis without a stick, but he was able to come on back. The post helped him out there too, and sometimes the post will be your friend as a goaltender. That's exactly what it did there, and a lucky break for the Royals.
Two-score game between the Bears and the Royals. And the Bears continue their pressure here early in the second. Royals finding it, carrying it out, got it to the red line. Anderson sends it the other way. Now it's Millard. Millard up the far side. Rose tracking it down. He'll carry it in. Billy Rose driving to the goal, sends it on goal, and it's turned away. The net off the moorings once again. Didn't seem like it took a hard push or anything, as we'll keep an eye on that. You never know with all the body heat. Maybe the ice is not as good as what it normally be, and I would say if that's the case, then you might want to keep those doors open all day Friday.
Well, I would say, having played on this ice before and putting those nets down a couple of times recently, the posts haven't been the deepest into the ice. So if even just a little bit of that physicality and that push towards the net, that could knock it off easily. But Woodbury can use that to their advantage too.
Fratellone to his right. The shot is blocked in front. Fratellone gets it back. He'll give it to Klein. Now, one-time shot by Johnson hits a shin pad, and out come the Woodbury Royals. He'll get it in. Ivan Foss will send it behind his goal to the near side. Grabbed at the blue line and sent deep by Sean Stuckert. Off the wall, back towards center. Tracked down by Tarleton. Fratellone takes the loose puck and gives it to his left to Klein. Jake Klein off the near wall. It's forced in by Kristen Johnson. To the corner. Big hit. Continued here by Chase Bill. Bill goes to O'Brien. O'Brien will center it, and nobody for White Bear Lake able to grab it, but the clearing attempt stopped by Meister. Now worked across. It was in the skates of Rose. He couldn't control it, and that allowed the Royals to take over for a moment before it's stolen right back by Meister. And then the Royals clear it to center before it's sent right back deep by Luke Gales. 4 minutes gone in the second period. Bears scored a goal late in the first and got one early here in the second, and it's 2-0 here. 4 minutes 7 seconds in on the icing. Alex, this is basically I would say a routine semifinal between a 1 and a 5 seed, but still I think a long ways away from being over.
Well, I think the mismatches here are definitely noticeable. In those last couple of rushes, you had Sanford Kirky, Carter Collins wide open in front of the net, and I don't know if Woodbury was just looking to play the puck and keep the rebounds from hitting the net, or if they just were unaware that those two skaters were there. But they were untouched on their way into the net, and if you don't have to battle for the puck as a forward, you can get an easy shot on goal from a short angle.
Cooper Anderson with a quick wrister is blocked in front. Coming across was Tyler Berry, and he got his breezers in the way of the shot. Hofeld now back to Anderson. He'll wait for Newpower to get onside before he sends it right back deep. Bears will chase after it. Back out to neutral ice it goes. Millard hard off the wall. Trying to find another man. It's Millard again at the red line. This time it'll be dumped in deep. The Royals doing a good job of clogging up the passing lanes. The Bears still have had more possession, but they've struggled as the puck is directed into the netting. The Bears have struggled really on the passing to find and create and generate scoring opportunities here in the second period.
Well, while I think that they have struggled to create those scoring chances, they haven't been giving them up on the other end either. 6-1 shots on goal, and for the Bears here in this period, 18-8 overall. Again, if you can play that kind of defense and not give up many shots to Evan Foss, you'll take that every single game that you play.
Royals cleared to the White Bear Lake end. Fratellone will find Klein. Klein back cross ice up to Collins. Collins moving it in. Goes across. Here's shot. Turned away by Davis was Verkerke. Out high, it's Fratellone again. This line has just been on fire this semifinal all game long, and then a big hit in the corner as they get back up. A shot for Kirky, hit the iron. Second time this period that goal's post has been tested by the Bears.
Second time this period too. The mid slot area has been wide open for passes coming from the wing.
Battle continues in the corner. Bears come away with it, but unable to keep it was Klein. He'll be forced to retreat, grabs the puck, looks for help as Lands is right up there, and Lands sends Klein into the wall. Bears a little bit too laissez-faire in their zone, arguably, but they'll find their way out of it. Here's Klein up the right side. Pass finds Rose. Rose with a shot, turned away. Rebounds grabbed by Rose and continued behind the goal. Very quick sequence there, but Royals steal it away. Tarleton moving in, but the Royals were offside. Alex, just the talent of Billy Rose and how he can just come out of nowhere. Comes in, fires a shot. The rebound's up there. He grabs it, goes right to his stick, and continues the play. It was very impressive action there by Billy Rose.
Well, Billy Rose has been one of the most touted hockey players in the White Bear Lake system, all the way down from the Bantam and the Mite level for quite some time. On the season for him, 7 goals, 20 assists. He's been very strong here, but again, he's been bouncing up and down between that first and second line based on whatever need suits him best. But a college would look at him and say that they would get a good player should they choose to scout him.
A lot of certainly scout-worthy players on this team. We saw last year no D1 commits. That turned into Chase Hampstead getting an offer from Mankato over the summer. You'll have to see here. You'd have to think that maybe the Bears will get an offer too. Here's a chance for the Royals as that came out of nowhere. Nice job by Zach Bernstein stealing the puck away and nearly got it out in front, but the Bears recover and up down the ice they come now. It's Grant Hofeld looking for option. He's forced in the corner, continues with it. Nice moves here, but Royals able to track it down. They get it to the blue line, but it's stopped by New Power. Worked across for O'Brien. Now in front, redirected on goal by Leighton Road, but getting his pad in the way of that one. And another opportunity for the Bears is turned away as Josh Davis looking strong again in goal for Woodbury, and that's what you need from your goaltender in a game like this.
Well, he, aside from a couple of redirections and a couple of rebound plays by the Bears, he's been very strong in net for Woodbury.
As we've gone past now the midway point of regulation, the Bears moving it back into the Woodbury zone for just a moment. Now it's carried out by Hooley. He'll cross the red line. He lost it. Bears take over. Meister with some speed enters the zone, fires a shot that's blocked. Doesn't get to the goal, and Tyler Berry will track it down. Has it stolen off his stick. Rose now looking for options. Billy Rose skates it back out high to the blue line. Here's Cooper Anderson with a shot, but didn't get all he wanted on it. Easily blocked and then cleared back out to center. Billy Rose with the puck for the Bears. Up the right wing side, it's Bill. Across for Meister. Meister moving in. His shot is blocked, and it's taken away by Zach Lands as he moves it to center before Miller returns the favor, dumping it back deep into the Woodbury end. 8.5 to go here in the second period. Millard out of the air, gets it down for Rose. Rose centers. Meister poking at it, takes a big hit, sent into the goal by the defender in front. A chance for Rose.
Whoa.
What a save, and then it's swatted out of midair over the Woodbury goal. How that puck didn't find the back of the net, I may never know. As we continue play behind the net, the stick of Josh Davis is out of his hands. A shot over the goal. Man, I'll tell you what, Alex, if the Bears were aware, as it's cleared down the ice, the Bears were aware that Davis didn't have a stick, you'd probably shoot low on that instead of missing high and wide. Nonetheless, what a sequence we just saw there in front of the Woodbury goal.
Well, what a save, too, with that glove. Just putting that glove up to knock that out of play. Unbelievable save by Davis. But like you said, Zach, when you have that skater stick instead of that goalie stick, I had to play in like that last Sunday, and it wasn't the best experience for me because you can feel that it's a little shorter, and it doesn't have that length on that paddle so you can knock that puck out of the air quickly. But again, great job by Davis to make that save. Unbelievable saves there by the junior.
Face-off in the Woodbury zone as Davis will get his head back into this, gets set back up there after some very crazy action. Bears win the draw. It's sent across for Millard in front. Save on the redirection by Leighton Road. And another try, another shot, and it's sent just wide of the goal off the backhand of Hofeld. Battle continues in the corner. Bears smelling blood, trying to get a third goal here. Cooper Anderson sends it behind the Woodbury goal to the far corner. Leighton Road down low for New Power. Tried the give and go, didn't work on that try. Now it's sent to the blue line, swatted away by the Royals, but the Bears take it right back, and Cooper Anderson will push it deep into the Woodbury zone. Big collision there at the far half wall. Bears continue it. Hofeld shot, and Davis makes the save with his chest. No rebound given. He's been all over the place in a very White Bear Lake heavy led second period.
Well, space in the slot there again creates a great chance for Hofeld as he picks up that loose puck. Looks to go glove side high on Davis. But again, if you're Woodbury, you have to start rewarding Davis's efforts with some shots on goal. Here with 7 minutes left, still 1 shot on goal for the Woodbury Royals compared to 11 for White Bear Lake. And rightfully so, we'll get a timeout Woodbury here.
And we're mentioning about how I would say that the heat had been turned up a bit on the Royals. The action in front of that goal had been turned up, and obviously Wes Bowen, the head coach for the Royals, wanting to slow things down and get everybody back on the same page here. And I don't think it's hard to disagree with a timeout here. You're trying to keep this game close and keep within striking distance.
Well, again, if you're White Bear Lake, you're looking at this timeout, and it's affecting you a little bit where you're not sure necessarily where things are going pretty well for you, but any stop in that momentum can be very dangerous.
The Bears, led by head coach Tim Sager, he's been here for many, many years, but his assistants have come through, and Chris Anderson, who's currently talking to the team there, you see getting this squad. He's the longest running assistant coach. Sean Patton just joined the varsity squad this year. He was the assistant coach last year, and he has been a big help from what I've heard from this team, and obviously very, very well liked by these guys. He led the AA Bantam Bears a couple years ago to a state title. Many of those players on this team this year trying to do what the teams have done in the past couple years. Grand Rapids 4 years ago won the AA Bantam title. A couple years later they won the state tournament. Minnetonka did the same last year, and the Bears, well, this would technically be the year.
Well, familiarity is certainly something that coaches look for, and that's why you see a lot of high school coaches teach and coach, because it allows that familiarity and those relationships to build in the classroom and on the ice. And so if this is a year for White Bear Lake, we'll certainly take it.
Bears trying to get something going here again, but it's stolen away. Royals doing a good job again, clogging up those lanes and making it very tough for the Bears to move it in front. White Bear continuing with the pressure, however. They'll move it back to neutral ice as it's swatted into the Woodbury end. Here's Hofeld. Hofeld shot, save. The rebound went past the stick of Leighton Road. And the whistle is blown. Hand pass is going to be the call, so the face-off will remain in the Woodbury end. Not a bad shot there from Hofeld, looking for that rebound and just out of the reach of Road.
Not at all. Again, when you have two skaters, one of them should be carrying the puck on the far side. The other one on the far wing should be going right to that center of the ice looking for those rebounds. Road was there, but unfortunately the puck just didn't get on his stick where he could put it past Davis.
6.5 to go in this second period. We continue here on SCC Sports. I want to thank our crew braving the elements here, the very snowy Tuesday evening, carrying all the cables through, shoveling a place for this truck to park. It's been a crazy day. I want to thank you for joining us here on SCC Sports. Here's a chance for Kirky, turned away. Rebound sent off the side of the cage. Continuing it here now, centering it for Johnson. He couldn't get a shot up. For Kirky, once fires, score! Off the rebound, it's Connor Collins for number 2, and the Bears lead 3-0.
Wash, rinse, repeat here for the Bears. Again, a shot from the point, a shot from a far out angle, looking for a rebound. That one looked like Davis had most of it, but when you don't have that 5-hole closed all the way, that puck can leak through you. Great job by Carter Collins to know that that puck could have been loose by following the puck to the net, looking for that rebound. Great effort by the senior to put that in for his second goal of the game.
The formula for success has been clearly seen. Now Josh Davis making his way to the bench. Isaac Watola with the senior goaltender who nearly shut out the Bears. Brady O'Brien, the sole goal scorer a couple weeks ago, will make his way into the net. And it's not always common to see goal changes after just 3 goals, but I think at this point you have a guy, Alex, who had success against White Bear Lake not too long ago, and also the senior element as well.
Well, I would have thought that, again, White Bear Lake would have gone, or not White Bear Lake, Woodbury would have gone with a senior, and West Bullen should have known that experience and familiarity in this kind of stage would have favored Isaac Wadala to be the starter for this hockey game tonight. But he decided to go with the hot hand in Davis, and Davis played well through a period and a half, but just not well enough, and his team didn't reward him with any shots on goal of any quality either, so you have to go for the goalie change there.
And to Davis's credit, you know, the old adage is the first shot is the goaltender's job, and the second and third and so on are the defensemen and the forwards to come in and clear those rebounds away. And if you're going off of that, Josh Davis did his job tonight. He
absolutely did his job. And the pucks from the points and the one and done opportunities, Josh Davis stopped all of them. It was just those second chance opportunities, those rebounds, those loose pucks that your defense has to be there for. And for a chance there when you're a hockey team and you don't have that defense helping you. So much scrutiny is on the goaltender when really hockey is a team sport and everybody is responsible for the puck ending up in the back of the net or not.
Isaac Wadala, the senior goaltender, now in for the Royals. He stopped 28 of 29 White Bear Lake shots back on February 14th. Just under 97% save percentage. That's not bad for sure, and he gave his team a chance to win. We'll see in the last 22 minutes of regulation if the Royals can get some shots on the goaltender Evan Foss and get some on the board. That is what it'll take at this point here. Bears continuing here, cheering for a goal as Grant Hofeld. He was denied by Watola. Now it's Rode, his shot turned away. Rebound, another save for Watola, who just saw Leighton Rode untouched going to his own rebound. And again, that's kind of what caused the first 3 goals. If you're the Royals, you got to clear those rebounds away.
Well, in 3 years as a starter for Woodbury, Isaac Wadala has seen White Bear Lake plenty of times, but he hasn't played well against them. For the Bears to get in there, get shots off on early, and Leighton Road, quality chances there from the near circle, but Wadala able to stop all those pucks.
Able to clear the Royals. Bears will send it right back in and set it into the netting. So
I'd say additionally, Zach, looking at here, 4:25 left in the second period, 17-1 shots on goal just in the period itself.
Another story of this one, all 3 goals scored by that, what is on paper the third line, but my goodness, it'll be interesting to see, depending on what happens here in the next 21 minutes or so, and if the Bears can hold on to this and get to Friday, what the ice time will be like for those players, because they've certainly earned a good amount of it with their performance so far between Verkerke, Carter Collins, and Tristan Johnson. Royals at the red line, trying to spoil it for the Bears, but the Bears come back. Here's Verkerke. Verkerke moving in, across, shot blocked in front. Diving across was Watola. Now another try in front, still loose, and the shot is put in. No, they wave it off. I'm not exactly sure why. Grant Hofeld is none too pleased. He's the one who backhanded it in. I guess they're going to say goaltender interference, but I don't know why. It was just a very fast physical play in front, and I don't know what you saw there, Alex, but I just saw a bunch of guys crowding to the net. And
well, I'd love to get the replay on that when we get a chance here, because it looked like the net wasn't the net. It looked like they waved it off because the net was off of its moorings, but it looked like the puck was clearly in the back of the net and at least crossed the line before the goal or the net had been knocked off. But either way, still 3-0 White Bear Lake.
And there is a rule that was I've seen enacted a couple times now in the Section 4 tournament, but it's obviously statewide, in which if the net comes off the moorings, but it was clearly that the puck would have gone in and that had no effect on it, that it's still a goal.
Well,
and that I think might have come into play there as well.
Well, I think what the goal judge down there too is that they should be taking into account for if the net was knocked off in time or not. And if the goal judge puts the goal light on, that should be a goal.
So again, I don't know what they would have had to rule that net coming off was a deterrent to the goal being stopped, and I don't think it was. I think regardless, but Bears still up 3-0, and head coach Tim Sager and the White Bear faithful on the far side of the ice hoping that is not a factor should Woodbury come storming back here in the late part of the second or in the final 17 of regulation in the third period. Moving in is White Bear Lake, trying for redemption. Can't get it on that try. Meister trying to track it down. O'Brien, the lone goal scorer in the previous meeting between these two teams, will set it in deep. He is, I'm sure, that Watola is a welcome sight for Brady O'Brien as he is out there battling. Chase Bill has the puck. Centering attempt here. Rose with a shot block. Rose again misses the goal. Rebound on goal. Diving down and making the save is Watola before the puck is sent to the corner. Cleared to the blue line. Stopped by O'Brien. Sent down low. Bears continuing with it here. Here's Rose. Winds, fires, shot, save. The rebound is cleared by Woodbury. And the Bears giving all sorts of pressure on the Woodbury goal. Unable to get the puck in the net with 2:25 to go in the second.
Well, Zach, one of my keys to this game was the quality of the Woodbury goaltending and how they've been able to handle these White Bear Lake shots in the entire duration of the game. They've played really well tonight. Again, like we said maybe a few minutes ago, it's the quality of the defense being there to collect the rebounds that have not allowed Woodbury to stay any bit in this game. Still, one shot on goal in the second period for the Royals.
So the White Bear Lake Bears dominant through most of this game so far. Again, a lot of crazy things could happen, but one concern when you have it, I think the perfect word, you mentioned this earlier, Alex, was mismatch. There's a clear mismatch here, and that's not always enough for a victory. Here's Verkerke moves in. Verkerke's shot, that's blocked in front, doesn't get to the goal, and then Royals able to clear it back out to center. But as I was saying, the mismatch there is there. The Bears in years past have had moments where they've played down to that mismatch, and they've allowed teams with perhaps lesser talent to hang around. And really, even though it is only 3, they've had more opportunities than that, and they haven't seemed to do that this year much at all. I guess with the exception of their games against the Woodbury Royals. But you look back to a game like they played against Mounds View, as number 9 has it, Leighton Road with the puck. The Bears beat the Mustangs 9-0, had full control of that game from start to finish, and the Bears looking like more of that team than maybe the team they played when they played against Woodbury the first 2 times this season.
Well, I would say, Zach, the concern again is that if you're a White Bear Lake fan, you know the history of the team blowing games that they should win. St. Paul Johnson in 2012 comes to mind. Tartan in 2017 comes to mind. So you have to keep the foot on the gas and put Woodbury away, not even giving them a chance to get back into this game.
It was 5-1 in 2012 going into the third period between the Bears and the Governors of St. Paul Johnson, and Jay Dickman-led Johnson team stunned the Aldridge Arena crowd, and Royals trying to maybe perhaps build off of that, but now it's Grant Holfeld all alone. Grant Holfeld moving in, shot, save, Watola. 20 seconds remain. The Bears nearly got what would most likely amount to be a dagger, but the Royals still alive. They move the puck down the ice. Left wing side, driving the goal. A shot turned away by Paz. The puck goes to the blue line, kept in, but that will do it for the second period. It's White Bear Lake 3, Woodbury 0.
Well, that stanchion right there on that far side allowed that puck to get knocked out past the defense. Grant Hofeld took it, had great speed, but just shot it right at the goaltender, Wadala. Not a whole lot you could do, but again, when you're holding Woodbury to 2 shots on goal in the entire period while out shooting them 23-2, that's a great period, a good, consistent period of hockey, and something that you look forward to in this third period and putting this Woodbury team away and focusing on the 4 double WBL final.
Well, we will take a breather, and when we come back, we'll have 17 more minutes on the clock, and should the Bears be ahead after those 17 minutes, they will move on to the section final. Should the Royals storm their way back, they will move on to Friday, and should we have the same score on both sides, we'll move to continuous overtime. A lot of options, a lot of excitement here at Aldridge Arena. He is Alex Westad. I'm Zach Halverson. A great crew down here at SCC Sports bringing you this great Section 4 AA semi-final. We'll be back for the third after this on SCC Sports.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
Three goals to 0, Woodbury and White Bear Lake. The Bears leading the Royals of Woodbury through 2 periods of play. Welcome back to Aldridge Arena for what should be an exciting third period with Alex Westad. I'm Zach Halverson. Alex, through 2 periods, the Bears, at least on paper, and I think the eye test as well, have been the better team so far.
Well, Zach, we've watched these teams for a number of years now. We figured out that White Bear Lake, this is probably as good as they've looked. As I accidentally locked out some of the Woodbury guys. Sorry, guys. This is as good as a White Bear team as we've seen in quite some time.
And it's that depth that's proving to be very, very successful. Now, while all 3 goals have come from that third line, there's been plenty of opportunities for the other 2 lines. They just haven't been able to convert. And that's, you know, what's really important, because if you think about this, Alex, as you go into games like this, whereas the Royals coming out flying here, getting some early opportunities, here's a chance in front. A cross shot saved by Foss. The rebound still loose in the slot area. Millard able to clear it to center. So the Royals, obviously, no surprise their game plan was come out of the third period flying and nearly got an early one there, but the Bears stand tall. As I was saying, Alex, anything can happen in the next 17 minutes. And if you boil this down to the 2 teams' top 2 lines, it could be a scoreless hockey game very, very easily, but it's been the finishing power of the third line that is the difference here for White Bear Lake.
Well, and depth for a high school team is always so difficult because it depends on how your feeder system is. How are the Mites doing? How are the Bantams doing? How to an extent are the junior gold teams doing? Because you want to be able to have that organizational depth where, like in White Bear Lake, you have junior gold players who could and probably should be playing varsity. It's just that much of a difference, but that much talent in that school system.
Here's a chance for the Royals, but it's knocked off his stick. That was Kevin O'Connor. O'Connor with a couple of assists the other night in their big victory over Irondale. Royals just looking here. Blair is along the edge of the goal mouth trying to get something going. Hofeld has it, goes to his blue line. Friedel on a cross. Klein's shot blocked in front, didn't get to the goal as Mauder got in the way and got the puck to center, and then it's cleared down the ice for an icing. Minute and 17 in.
Well, it looks like Wes Bolin, the head coach of the Woodbury Royals, had a game plan started here for this third period of play, but after that it looked like White Bear Lake regained their feet, regained their skates, and started carrying the play in that period again. As we look forward into the Section 4 AA final, it's been interesting that it's been quite some time since the Hill Murray Pioneers have had a #1 section seed in this section. I believe it's been 5 or 6 years now since then.
Right. And that's, of course, the what brings about so much interest. And, of course, when it comes to section hockey, anything can happen. And we've seen every single thing happen in recent years for sure. The 3-0 lead, though. The Bears looking to get through the next 15-21 and get the extra day of practice that they earn with a top seed. Of course, that was never, I guess, a major advantage back in the day when it was a doubleheader at the Coliseum. But now you get that extra day to sit and watch. I'm sure whatever team wins tonight will be back here tomorrow night as you just kind of spend your entire week here at Aldridge.
Well, tomorrow's game between Hill Murray and Stillwater, it's going to be a battle. It was a 2-1 game back in January when they played here at Hill Murray, being the home team there as well.
Anderson's shot turned away, and rebound still loose in front, and nobody for White Bear Lake there. Dropping back was Meister as a defenseman, at least for an interim defenseman, got able to stop it there and get it back, and the Bears will control it. Now making his way down the ice is Rose. Rose moving in, fires a shot wide of the goal. Billy Rose, we talked a lot of good about him tonight. I will say one thing from him, one criticism here has been the shot accuracy. He's missed the net a few times in some key situations. But again, that goes back to what we were talking about earlier with how important that third line finishing on their opportunities is, and how really narrow of margins we have here early in this third period.
Well, again, with the score being 3-0, you still want to be able to hit the net, and at least if you're missing the net, that's a chance for a breakaway to start out the other way. So you got to keep hitting the net if you're White Bear Lake. Here's
a shot from the blue line by the Royals, missing wide. I mentioned earlier you're going to see a penalties called here, at least one. I don't know if they're going to call both or just one, and it was right in front of the Woodbury student section. Millard is heading to the box. It was behind the play. I only saw the last part of it, Alex. I don't know if you got a better view, but.
Well, I was right in there, too. I only saw the back end of that where Spencer Millard was standing right on top of the Woodbury skater. So I didn't really see what happened there. But usually, as the call is holding officially, it makes sense, I guess. But again, both of us were looking elsewhere with that play happening. But either way, another chance for Woodbury to operate on the power play. When you take White Bear Lake's best defenseman off the ice, it's going to give you some more chances.
Bears win the draw. Such a crucial power play here, but the Bears have the better opportunity. Meister moving in, taken down as he shoots. You have to call it. He does. Penalty shot, White Bear Lake.
Well, penalty shots get called when there's a clear path to the net, and Blake Meister does a great job of picking this puck up off a nice clearing attempt from across the other goal line and skating it. Just a great speed by this senior to get up into the play and take that puck towards the net. Now this gives Blake Meister a penalty shot, and penalty shots in high school, while rare, are always exciting.
Meister has 3 assists in the section tournament, had 3 in that quarterfinal on Saturday morning. Has 9 goals all season, looking for his 10th of his senior year, looking for his first of the Section 4 tournament. Many times those penalty shots are hard to call, Alex. That was about as easy as they come.
Well, this was not the first penalty shot of the year for White Bear Lake, but it has a chance to be one of the first goals on the penalty shot for them.
Meister versus Watola. And Watola wins. Isaac Watola stopping Meister 11 seconds into Millard's penalty. And that is a crucial save at a crucial moment. And it'll be interesting to see now, the next minute and 49 seconds of power play remaining for the Royals, how they respond here and perhaps use that to their advantage.
Well, a pretty good rush into the zone there off the penalty shot there. Everybody's pointing at the scoreboard. Why are they pointing at the scoreboard? Either way, it was a nice rush into the zone by Meister. It looked like he was trying to go backhand by getting Waddle to move off that post just a little bit, but the goaltender, a senior, he was smart. He let the shooter make the move first, because once you're a goalie and you move off your post and you get out of position, that's when goal scoring happens, when you get off that position. So a great job by Waddle to take that chance away, but a nice move by Meister.
Isaac Wadala keeping his team within striking distance. The Bears, however, responding. Leighton Road across for Klein. Now it's Hofeld, backhand shot. How do you have 3 guys for White Bear Lake down there? And now the Royals will come. I've rarely seen a 3-man rush on a penalty kill. But the Bears do it. They trust O'Brien back and shows the trust in the defensive side and how much the Bears want to get that 4-goal lead if possible. So close about a minute ago with a penalty shot, unable to capitalize on that. But we continue here with 45 seconds to go. You see in the top of your screen, left in the power play for Woodbury. They make their way into the zone. Left side, it's Mauter. Moving in. Battle continues in the corner. Royals come out with it. Up to the right. Top of the umbrella. Keeping it going here is Mauter. Mauter with a shot, gloved by Foss.
He was looking high for that rebound there on the far side. He had a couple of Royals right in front there trying to redirect that one home, but Mauter lifts that high, and Foss strong enough with the glove to know where that puck's going.
12 1/4 to go in this third period. 17 to go in the power play. Millard, not only we really haven't even a chance to talk about the fact that Millard, one of the best penalty killers for the Bears, is not out there for White Bear Lake. He will be out there in 10 more seconds. Royals trying to get him an early exit, unable to do so on that shot. Continuing with it here, the Royals back out high for Mauter. He'll grab it, fires on goal, bouncing puck. Foss tracks it down, slams the glove on it. Bears full strength. It's 3-0 White Bear, 11:54 to go in the third.
Well, for a power play that created more chances for White Bear Lake than it did Woodbury. A nice flurry of shots there on goal by the Royals there in that last couple of minutes. And Evan Foss not being tested super strong tonight. He was able to hold on and make those saves.
That dangerous line for the Bears back out there. And no, we are not talking about Chase Bill and Bailey Rose and Blake Meister. No, we are talking about Carter Collins, Tristan Johnson, and Sam Verkerke. All 3 goals is a big hit put on by the shoulder of Joey Fratellone, who we've talked a lot about that third line. We haven't talked too much about Joey Fratellone and his impact in this game thus far. At least 2 assists on the evening.
Well, the young man has certainly done a great job all night of separating player from puck. And he's not necessarily put the puck on the stick all the time, but he's creating chances by being open and making a defender be aware of where he is, because he is dangerous when he has the puck on his stick.
Icing is called on the Royals. And give credit to Woodbury. They've gotten opportunities. They came out with a great start in that third period. The unfortunate aspect, however, has been the fact that they have been unable to capitalize, and the first 2 periods the Bears did.
Well, and I think the other thing you look at now here if you're Woodbury is the time remaining. If you have just under 11 minutes left, you're going to have to start scoring goals. And really, aside from that power play, they haven't had the chances on goal at any point in time in this game. Should be a high stick, right?
Bears called for a high stick, so not the penalty, but just the stick infraction. And that'll bring the face-off back into the White Bear Lake end. But some very good opportunities squandered as well for Woodbury. The power plays, the fact that they started a crucial third-period power play with giving up a breakaway that turned into a penalty shot. Now, credit, no harm done, but certainly a bit of a foul in the sense that you wasted a good 20, 30 seconds to start your power play with a penalty shot.
Well, with those seconds coming so few and so far between, you can't waste any of them, and that's exactly what Woodbury did on that second power play. The first one was a lot better, more coordinated, better puck movement into the zone, and in the second one here, they just really didn't have anything working at all.
10.5 to go. Royals need at least 3. Bears trying to increase what the Royals need. Meister battling in the far side. Skates down low with it. Rose to Bill, down to Meister. Meister across, in front. Rose, shot, bouncing puck, rebound, score! Chase Bill, Bears 4, Royals 0.
Well, when we've talked about the third line for most of the night, you forget that first line's there. That Bill, Meister, and then Leighton Rose are the players that they put on that first line. That first line still has scoring potential. Isaac Wdby has his puck at first. He thinks he has it, and then it gets free there. And a great job by Chase Bill following that puck to the net, putting it past Wdby, and really putting the dagger in this one at 4-0.
The story of this game. There are many stories of this game, Alex, but it's that rebound factor. The Royals just unable to clear those rebounds, and the Bears taking advantage of it, and all 4 goals have come on second and third opportunities in front of that goal.
Well, it's not just that rebounds have been created, it's that the Royals have had issues pushing them to the corner, where the rebounds have been going right in front, right to the slot.
Here's Grant Holfeld moving in. Holfeld shot, score! Number 5 makes it 5-0, White Bear Lake.
Lazy neutral zone coverage by the Royals gives Grant Holfeld his chance. He takes the puck away from the Royals defensively and just walks right in, picks blocker high on Isaac Wdby, putting this one at 5-0. And this really is what we should have seen from White Bear Lake throughout the game. Great effort by Holfeld. Excellent scoring by the Bears here tonight.
Midway point of the third period, it is all White Bear Lake. There's icing waved off here, puck pushed into the Woodbury zone. Couple things here at this point, Alex, as we start hearing the wonderful treatment that the student sections love to delve out when the lead gets to this point. It's you know, a lot of focus here now, just closing out, making it clean. You don't want any sort of controversy. There was, I understand, as Verkerke fires a shot wide of the goal, there was some bit of extracurriculars outside of the rink even on Saturday between the Bears and the Raiders of Roseville, and it turned a little bit physical. The good news about this game is it has been physical. I don't think it's been dirty. I don't think it's been cheap, and hopefully we get to the last 8.5 minutes with some class here.
Well, the danger is, again, like you said, on Saturday where the extracurriculars ran over, is that these players not just only play each other in hockey, but it also runs over into many sports. We see a lot of hockey players play soccer. We see a lot of hockey players play lacrosse. So those crossing over moments there, while there's some familiarity and some camaraderie that could happen there's a lot of animosity that happens as well, and that lingering sense of, I don't like this person, I'm going to do something that I shouldn't.
Trimer and a cross shot just wide of the goal. Maybe catching a piece of it was Foss, but a good look for Zach Bernstein trying to get the goose egg off the board. It remains 5-0. Bernstein, one of the many seniors on the squad for Stillwater, for Woodbury rather, trying to, if not get this team back into a winning position, at least get some memories made here before the end of their runs. That's the tough part, of course, with high school sports, and especially this winner or go home section tournament setup. It's you start looking at the seniors, and that's one of those plays there where they want to maybe get one more goal before the high school side of things is over.
Well, and especially when many of these players started playing hockey in this Woodbury program, that's when Woodbury was at its strongest, a powerhouse in Section 3AA, making the state tournament with regularity, whereas now that it's time for these Royals to be on the ice, they haven't quite had the success that those teams that they grew up with did. So it's about making that memory, but turning the program around and making it be successful again. And hopefully, if the Woodbury Royals can make it a little more competitive. Since joining 4AA, they've never made a section final. They haven't been in one in any section since 2010. And really, this Woodbury program, not the storied success that it used to be.
Holfeld from left to right, drops it for New Power, has it poked off his stick, and out of the zone comes the puck. And you mentioned, Alex, the Royals, they've had some moments. You know, it's just such a tough section. When you join it, you know what you're getting into. It's such a tough section to get through. They've had some highs, unfortunately, not highs enough, and the Royals been struggling. Not only, you know, they've had not the easiest time down there with Eastridge coming into the fold now, and Raptors kind of perhaps splitting some of that talent. It's not easy when you split high schools like that, and that community now feeding 2 different programs, and it's in a community-based system. It's so hard to build a lot of pride in the community when you have to build 2 teams and you have to feed 2 teams.
Well, especially even in that same district, that South Washington County schools, with Park of Cottage Grove being down there too. People are moving to where they think they're going to get the best education, but also where the best sports are. And while Park might not be the best at hockey either by any means, it's still a good school where football is up and coming and basketball is improving as well. So again, it's
some great infrastructure down there too. A lot of great. Park's football stadium is among the best in the state. You have the new rink for Eastridge that is shared with Park down there that they just built. A lot of great facilities down there as well. And you want to talk about facilities? Bielenberg Sports Center. Oh boy, I know the Ramsey County wants to build a smaller dome, but my goodness, you go south on 694 a little bit, you're going to end up in not a dome, but one of the nicest field houses I've ever seen.
One of the most state-of-the-art facilities here in the East Metro. The Health East Sports Center is a fantastic place to play, and certainly something that the community of Woodbury is excited about too. But then you look at moving into next season too, you're going to have Irondale St. Anthony start playing in the Suburban East Conference twice a year, for Woodbury playing them, for White Bear Lake playing them as well too. You have to think that matchup favors White Bear Lake and Woodbury when they come into the Suburban East, just because that Irondale program has had some tough sledding as of late, but again, White Bear Lake just very dominant all aspects of the puck.
And you talk about adding Irondale and the implications of that. Like you said, I think it definitely helps Woodbury, because you get a couple more games in which you have more familiarity towards, and you can build up more of regularity, and maybe not necessarily a rivalry right away, but the fact that they met this year already, and maybe there's some bad blood brewing in the early parts of that. But with White Bear, the problem, of course, and as you grow, and even Woodbury too, that as you grow the conference, those are 2 games that now that you have to play in the conference schedule that you can't elect to play outside of the conference. And the unfortunate, I guess, result of adding more teams to the Suburban East is you're not going to be able to play as many teams outside of the area, which has been, I think, a very positive thing, even though they haven't beaten teams like Edina this year or Minnetonka. Seeing the better teams in the state is such a help in the regular season, because it's much better to play those teams when it doesn't totally count before you might have to later when it does.
Well, White Bear's always had a very difficult non-conference schedule. Like you said, at Edina, at Minnetonka. They played at Duluth East, that home-and-home series. Besides the Heritage Center up there being one of the best rinks up in the upper Midwest, it's just it's fun to go and play the best teams, because you know that you're playing top talent. Whereas if you go out and you schedule a North St. Paul, an Irondale, a St. Paul Como when there is still a program, it makes your program seem weaker for it.
And of course, you have a meeting like they did, were supposed to. And what a year it's been, a season has been, in terms of game cancellations, which, as far as my memory goes back, I don't remember anything like this before, with games being canceled like they have been. But a meeting that a team that we saw before warm-ups was practicing here, Blaine, the Bengals, were supposed to meet the White Bear Lake Bears a few weeks ago. That one was canceled. Another game was against Rochester Century was canceled down in Rochester. So it was a 23-game regular season. This is technically game 25 for White Bear Lake this year, and this is normally when you're wrapping up the year and getting ready for postseason. So kind of an interesting dynamic there. But wow, what 4 minutes to go here in the third period. The Bears, which by the way, Bears tried to play Blaine. It was scheduled originally for here. Blaine forgot to book the ice, so they were going to play it at Fogarty before it was canceled. But I'd like to know, and in fact, maybe it's a question for Tim Sager after the game. Where are you practicing? Are you practicing up there? Because Blaine practicing down here, trying to get familiar with this Aldridge Arena ice. Both those teams starting kind of a new tradition last year, playing a game here in Aldridge late in the season to get kind of ready for the different, I guess, quirks of this arena. It's not totally crazy. It's not going to Mariucci in 100-foot wide ice, but it's still, it's a different setting. You want to get used to it as much as you can.
Well, part of that decision a season ago just had to deal with the fact that we'll hit running time.
How about
here.
that? Verkerke, this third line on fire. Number 6 gets number 6 for the Bears. And with 3.5 to go, running time will begin at the next start. White Bear Lake continues to roll here. That third line, so darn impressive.
Well, it's too bad that Caden Kotitek, number 4, wasn't playing here, or Connor Smith wasn't playing for number 2. But again, just an impressive pick up the puck in the loose slot area. But again, back to that matchup last year with White Bear Lake and Blaine. That was just due to ice lack of availability, and this was the only rink where they could have played. But both teams would take it because of that opportunity to play on this ice. And again, when you look at Totino Grays coming up to Class AA next year too, that's going to be a huge culture shock, so to speak, when you come up from the Class A and you're playing Matamidi and St. Paul Johnson and Northfield in your section tournament, whereas you're coming up here and you're gonna, if it's 4AA or if it's 5AA, you're gonna be playing teams like Blaine, Centennial, White Bear Lake, Hill Murray, Stillwater, and that competition is much better than what they see in Matamidi once. They see it multiple times throughout.
And it goes certainly both ways, as you know, the new team coming in. I don't know too much about them here. Crazy things can happen. So the Eagles moving from Class 1A to 2A. Always like to see it as the whistle is blown. I think it might be a penalty here. We'll see if it's going to be a tripping call. So the last part of this game will be spent on the power play for the Woodbury Royals, and heading the box is Cooper Anderson.
Just a trip across the blue line there. Not a penalty that'll affect the outcome of this one. Again, the chant from the student section, where's your first string goalie? Which tonight it's been a tough go for Woodbury, but again, great tune up here for White Bear Lake as they get set to play Hill Murray or Stillwater come Saturday or Friday.
First string quarterback is in the box for the Bears, at least that he was the first string. Cooper Anderson, one of the seniors on this White Bear Lake team. As the Royals trying to get on the board here, as the rest of this hockey game will be spent on the power play for the Royals unless they score. So you mentioned, Alex, the winner of Stillwater and Hill Murray will play White Bear Lake on Friday, and will be a crazy game if you don't want to deal with all the traffic and the parking and trying to get a ticket, get here early enough for all that. Be able to watch it here on SCC Sports at your leisure, whether it be on Channel 801 or Channel 19, and also on YouTube as well. But that'll be a great game. And by the way, if you can't make it to that one, there's a Section 4A game too that you should definitely check out between those Matamidi Zephyrs, trying to provide a nice send-off for Totino Grace in their final Section 4A tournament.
Well, those two teams played each other this year too, and it was a real close game. So we'll see what happens with that one. But again, both teams going to be a significant game coming up here.
35 seconds to go. Carter Collins getting a couple, Verkerke getting a couple. A very entertaining battle between the Royals and the Bears. White Bear Lake in 20 seconds will book their ticket to the section final on Friday. Royals trying to get a last second rush here, unable to do so. Another try with 10 to go, now 6 seconds left. Alez will finish this thing off here. Final score, White Bear Lake 6, Woodbury 0. A great game, exciting start to finish. High school hockey, the Section 4AA semifinal on SCC Sports.